I built this real-life prototype animatronic completely from scratch. Standing at 8 feet tall, this is by far the biggest project I have ever made, and I'm gonna show you how I did it. This is my shop, and for the next couple of weeks, I will be making a life-size prototype from Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. If you're new to the channel, I'm AJD, and I make props from video games come to life. So for the first step of making the prototype, I need to make all 6 of his legs. And to do that, I have 12 sheets of XPS foam. To make each leg, I need to glue 2 foam boards together, that way it's thick. And for each leg that the prototype has, there are 5 segments per leg. So I am gonna eyeball and hand draw each segment onto pieces of paper and make my own templates. So it's important to do the legs first, that way I can get the right scaling for the rest of the body. Right now, I only have 5 of the legs glued and weighed down, and that's because I just need to use a piece of foam board to scale out the legs properly. So before I glue the last 2 foam boards together for the last leg, I'm gonna go ahead and make the template for it first. Oh, I'm getting old. And here are the templates for the legs. I feel so proud of this. I feel like I am presenting something for a school project. I went ahead and eyeballed and freehanded each segment of the legs. Then I wrote on top the dimensions of each square that I used. I am so sad that I have to cut this out because this looks absolutely beautiful. I ended up cutting it because it looked a little too small, and when I put the pieces together, that is ridiculously small. We don't want a mini one walking around, we want a giant one. So I went ahead and made a new template, and this time, it is massive. I think this is the perfect size for the legs, and I hope I have enough XPS foam to cut all this out. I actually got super lucky. All the pieces fit on there perfectly, so now I don't have to worry about buying more foam. So now that I know the real scale of the project, we can go ahead and move on to the next part. So I went ahead and set up a fan that I got for like $20. And if you've seen my Balloon Boy project, I actually went and used an oscillating fan to make the head move back and forth. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing for this project. And the cool thing about this fan is I can actually raise it all the way up, and this will act perfect for the body and the neck. But of course, I don't need all this extra faceplate stuff or the fan really, so I'm gonna go ahead and disassemble that part. That way what we have is a stand and an oscillating head. I got the blade and the cage off of the fan, so this is exactly how I want it to look like. But before I do any more work to the fan, I need to go ahead and make the torso where the legs will be connected to. And although there are gonna be 6 legs propping this thing up, I don't think they'll be strong enough to support the rest of the body. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a base for it. And it wouldn't be an AJD project if I didn't use some foam spray. I have yet again another giant ball. I'm gonna apply some spray foam all over it, and this will be the abdomen. Then to top it off, the fan will go right on top. Now the first thing I'm gonna do is make the base. I've got the stand fully built and it's actually pretty sturdy. Now the next step is to add the spray foam, so I went ahead and covered the ball in some saran wrap to protect it. And in order to connect the legs to the body, I have these PVC joints here that I'm going to adhere to the board. I have it set up how I want it to look, so I'm going to go ahead and add a bunch of spray foam. It is the next day and it has been well over 24 hours, so all of these foam boards should be adhered together. But now I have to go ahead and trace the templates onto each board 30 times. So how about we do a montage? Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. All right, the templates have been traced onto all of the foam boards, so now it is time to cut all of them out. I am very excited for this part because I bought a new tool. I bought a hot knife foam cutter. So this knife will ensure that all the cuts are precise and smooth. So this process should be a lot faster. Whew. I absolutely love this knife. That cut so fast. I cut all these out in about like 10 minutes. All 5 segments are cut out, so now I have one entire leg, but I still have to cut out 25 more segments. So I'll see you guys when it's all cut out. I have got all the segments cut out. It was a lot easier with that hot knife cutter. I need to make divots where the joints are. That way I can connect them together. I also need to go ahead and sharpen the ends of this segment right here because that segment is really pointy at the end. So let's go ahead and do that. So the process of doing it is actually pretty fun, and look how sharp it looks. The downside to it though is it is extremely messy. Look how messy the floor is right here. There is pink foam everywhere. It's gonna take a long time to vacuum that up. I have got those 5 segments completely sharpened, so the next step is to use the hot wire knife to make the interlocking sections. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut those out so I can connect them. That took a long time, but I have all the notches cut out, so now they can fit perfectly together. Now the next step is probably gonna take like 3 hours to do, and that is to cover each individual segment with about 3 layers of Mod Podge. If I didn't add the Mod Podge, the spray paint would just disintegrate the foam, and I do not want that to happen. So now I have to make a giant assembly line to Mod Podge all of these segments. I've got all 30 segments individually laid out. No time to waste, let's get to it. So I'm about halfway done with the first layer of Mod Podge to all the segments, and it is taking forever. So I went and did some research to see if I can paint directly on XPS foam without doing Mod Podge, and apparently Rust-Oleum 2X paint and primer doesn't melt foam. And that sounded ludicrous to me, but I went and tried it out, and sure enough, it doesn't melt it. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray paint all of them with the spray paint that is supposed to not disintegrate it. That saves me a bunch of time. Here is a leg fully attached. Yeah, this thing is gonna be massive. I actually went ahead and used spray foam instead of the wood glue just to hold it a little bit better. So I need to let this dry, so I'm gonna go set it down and finish the rest of them. All 6 of the legs are officially put together. Now I have to wait about a day for the spray foam to completely dry, and I am pretty tired. As you can see, I did a lot of work today, so I'm gonna get some much needed rest and spray paint it tomorrow. The spray foam on the legs are fully dried and all of the legs are intact and sturdy. Now before I paint it, there's like little caps on each of the joints. So I bought a bunch of these, whoops. Anyway, I bought a bunch of these caps right here, and it is the perfect size for each of the joints. So I'm just gonna glue it into place where I have all the drawn on circles. I have got all those caps glued onto the legs, and it has been a while, so they are dry. So now I can finally go ahead and spray paint them. And to make sure I don't die when spray painting in here, I did buy a respirator so I can breathe clean air. All of the legs are spray painted, which means we are almost done with the legs. There are still a couple more things I need to do, one of which is to add black paint so it looks all withered. Then I need to add PVC pipings to the ends of them so I can connect it to the body. Speaking of body, it is now time to carve it. I've got it carved and it's looking okay. There's still a little bit of holes and gaps in it, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and fill it with some foam clay just to make it look nicer. I also went ahead and attached the base of the oscillating fan. Now it is on there, sturdy. All I did was just foam sprayed it underneath and it adhered pretty well. Also, on the back of the prototype, I think it's supposed to be like a gas canister in the game. So what I did was I foam sprayed 3 buckets together. All I gotta do is spray paint it the metallic gray like the legs. And once I do that, I'll be able to glue it on the back. Before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and add the foam clay to the ribs to make it look a lot nicer. The foam clay is on there, so now I have to wait a little bit for it to dry. I think now is a good time to put on the legs. And to do that, I cut little pieces of PVC piping and stuck them into those joints that I had glued around the board. But now I gotta cut little holes into each leg so I can stick those PVC pipings in there. It is the next day and the legs are completely secured to the body. Also, the foam ribs are done drying as well. Look how absolutely massive this thing is already. This is gonna take up the whole entire shop. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to make the 2 legs move up and down using the oscillating fan mechanism. I tested it out and the motor is just not strong enough to move the legs up. I am sorry, feel free to take the time to leave a hateful comment. One of the last few things I needed to do to the bottom section of the prototype is to make those 3 arms. He's got 3 arms that poke out from his abdomen. One of them is Huggy Wuggy Wuggy's arm, the second is Kissy Missy's arm, and the third is Mommy Longlegs' arm. Now for Huggy Wuggy and Kissy Missy, I bought blue fur and pink fur. And for the base of the arm, I'm gonna use a foam pool noodle. And for the hands, I'm gonna use some yellow fabric. For Mommy Longlegs' arm, I'm gonna use a bendable hose. It's really posable, so I think I'm gonna make Mommy Longlegs' arm like kind of a tacking out. And for the hands, I'm just gonna use some foam clay. First things first, let's make Huggy and Kissy's arms. Both arms are constructed and they are looking really, really good. The next thing I need to do is make a template for the hands and cut them out with this yellow fabric. I'd say these turned out actually pretty good. Can I get a round of applause for that? I need to give myself a pat on the back. You gotta hand it to me. These are pretty good. Enough of the corny hand puns. I still have one more arm to make, and that is Mommy Longlegs. So for Mommy Longlegs' arm, I'm gonna make it 40 inches long like I did for Kissy Missy and Huggy Wuggy. So for the arm, this is what I'm using. A Flex Cobra hose, aluminum foil to make the hands, foam clay to put over the aluminum foil. I'm gonna cover that with a couple layers of Plasti Dip, and to top it off, I have pink spray paint. The hand is done, and it looks really, really creepy with the long, skinny fingers. So the next thing I need to do is add the Plasti Dip to it so then I can eventually spray paint it. I added the first layer of Plasti Dip to Mommy Longlegs' arm. I also went ahead and added some Plasti Dip to the buckets that are on the back. While I wait for that to dry, I want to add some details to the legs. I'm going to dab on some black paint to make it look all old and withered. I think that's going to add a lot of detail to it. So I went ahead and used black spray paint and sprayed it around the edges and just mildly on the surface. And it really darkened it up, and I think it looks a lot better with that black spray paint on there. So now that the legs are pretty much done, there's only one more thing I need to do to the legs, and that's add those red intestine thingies all around it. I have some stuff coming in the mail for that, so I can't do it yet. But what I can do is finish the torso. So on the prototype's body, it's got a red shell that covers the rib cage. So to make that, I'm gonna use some EVA foam. I made a template and came out with this thing right here. Now I just have to make another one and spray paint it red. I've got the red shell on there. I also went ahead and did some detailing to it. I added some metallic and black highlights to it, which ended up making it look like it's metal, which is perfect. In addition to that red shell, there's also these black strips. There's 2 on each side of the abdomen, so I went ahead and made those out of some EVA foam, spray painted them gray and withered them a little bit and glued them on there. Also, the Plasti Dip on the buckets were completely done drying, so I went ahead and spray painted that metallic and added some black highlights to it as well. So because the Plasti Dip was done drying on this, that means that this arm is ready for some spray paint. It is the next day and the arm is completely done drying. This is looking beautiful. I think the pink is like the perfect shade. And I even went ahead and added the blue ring that's around the hand. So now that this is dry and I have the other 2 hands made, I can go and add them to the body. So I've got the arm of Mommy Longlegs on the body. Now for these 2 guys, I'm gonna attach them by putting them into some sort of a socket. I'm gonna use this 3-inch diameter pipe thingy, and I'm gonna cut 2 tiny sections off of it. Then I'm gonna spray foam those into place on the body. Then once that's dry, I'll be able to slide the ends of the arms into them. And for the rest of the pipe that I have left over, I'm gonna use the rest of that and put it on top of the buckets, because on the back of the prototype, underneath Catnap's fur, there's like a cylinder under there, so this is like the perfect size for that. So this will be perfect for that. So now that I've got the pink arm spray foamed into place, as well as the tubes to hold the other 2 arms, and I went ahead and spray foamed the tube on the buckets on the back. So with that drying, that means that the bottom half of the prototype is basically almost done. There's a couple things I need to do, which is to add those red tendons around the legs, but those should be coming in the mail today. And the next is to add Catnap's fur to it. I'm gonna do this after the spray foam's all done drying. So in the meantime, I'm gonna start working on the top half of the prototype. So the first thing I need to do for the top half of the prototype is to make that spine. And to do that, I have another black tube. I'm gonna put the photo right to the side because I don't even know how to explain it. But he's got like these gold bands that go around this black tube. So I'm gonna go ahead and make a template and trace it on to some EVA foam and just glue it onto the pipe. This was freehand, as you saw from the clip. If you're ever wondering why I decided to freehand stuff instead of like printing out a template or whatever, it is a lot more satisfying to do it all by myself. So what I'm gonna do now is spray paint it gold, and then I can glue it onto that pipe. I slid it onto the fan's pole, and it is looking marvelous. Now it's been a while, so the spray foam on the back is dry, so let's go ahead and add Catnap's fur to it. Actually, before I do the fur, there's something I need to put on the front. The prototype has like a circular yellow light right on the abdomen, so I'm gonna recycle and use the necklace that I made for Dog Day, use that light. Look at that. So it'd be kind of like the prototype stole it from Dog Day, so it works out perfectly. And all I gotta do is adhere these 2 together and put it on the body. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and add Catnap's fur. I've got the purple fur on here, and while I was looking at it, I realized something was missing. And that is, on each side, there are 2 canisters. And I just found the perfect solution for those canisters. I have yet to throw away the spray foam cans, and I have a bunch of these laying around. And this is like the perfect size and shape for those canisters. So I actually went ahead and spray painted the caps to those canisters. I also had some extra lids that I used for the gears on the legs. All I'm gonna do is glue them together and then glue it onto the body near where that red shell is. With those caps into place, we are finally on the very last step of the bottom half of the prototype. And look what just came in the mail. This is some heat shrink tubing, and it is gonna be perfect for the tubing and the intestines that are all around his legs. I have got all the tendons on the legs, which means I am completely done with the bottom half of the body. So I'm gonna get started working on the top half of the prototype. It is now time to work on the top half part of the prototype. And the first thing I wanna do is make the arms and the hands. For the arms and hands, I have PVC piping, PVC pipe joints, funnels, 10 10-inch long needles, 28 4-inch long needles, 4 fake bones, and some foam clay. Additional stuff is I have to, of course, spray paint it and add some fabric to the funnels. Look how sinister these needles look. This is gonna look really scary when it's on them. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna assemble each hand, and to do that, I'm gonna connect the needles together using balls of foam clay. That was just a huge waste of time. I completely forgot that the foam clay is just gonna compress down as it dries, and it did not hold those needles well. So instead what I did was I bought a bunch of wooden balls, and I drilled a hole through it and adhered the needles through it, and it actually turned out really good. So now the next step, I need to go ahead and make the palm. And I'm actually gonna use XPS foam right here. I went ahead and drew what it's gonna look like. So I'm gonna cut this out twice, and then I'm gonna attach all the fingers to that hand. It is the next day, and don't make fun of me for wearing the same sweatshirt, but both of the hands are done drying. Look how menacing that looks. This is like insanely dangerous too. So now that the glue on both hands are done drying, I can finally go ahead and spray paint it. I completely forgot. I still have to add these to the PVC piping. I probably should have done that yesterday. Oh well. While I wait for the arms to dry, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the face. And for the face, I have a 10-inch foam dome. I actually have 2 of them. His head looks to be like perfectly spherical. On one hemisphere, it'll be his face. The other hemisphere will be where the hat goes onto. Poppy, where's Poppy? That was my best prototype impression. Let me know in the comments below if that was good. The Plasti Dip is done drying on the face and it looks pretty good. But now that I have this, I'm gonna go ahead and make the teeth. And to make the teeth, I'm just gonna cut it out using some EVA foam. This thing is insane looking. I got done putting the teeth onto the face. I went ahead and added some red spray paint to the gums, but then I went ahead and added some white spray paint. Then I took a towel and just smeared it across the gums. It lightened up the red a little bit and it made it more gummy. But now that the teeth are done, the last thing I need to do to the face is add the eyes. As of now, Easter is about a month and a half away, so the stores are flooded in Easter eggs. So I went ahead and bought one that splits right down the middle. The shape is kind of like the shape of his eye. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim them down a little bit, then spray paint them black. The black eggs are hot glued into place. Now it's already starting to come together. In his right eye, his pupil lights up. So in order for mine to do that, I'm gonna use string lights. His head is complete. Look how menacing that looks. That looks beautiful. What I ended up doing was I took a screw and I coiled the lights around it, then I screwed it into that egg, and then I painted the top of the screw black, and now it looks like it has a black pupil. Now that the head is done, all I have to do is spray paint the arms, and then the rest of the project just has to do with the fabric. But before I go and spray paint the arms, I'm gonna go ahead and assemble the head to the fan. I have got the head attached to the body. This is the best camera angle I can get. There is no possible way I can get this thing into frame. All right, ow, oh my gosh. It is the next day and the foam is done drying, which means the arms should be fully connected to the hands. So now I'm gonna go ahead and spray paint it metallic. Both of the arms are spray painted, but there's still a couple more steps I need to do before I put it onto the body. One of which is to add the funnels. So his sleeves are kind of funnel shaped. So I'm gonna add fabric to them and attach them to the arms. So the colors of the funnels and the hat are yellow, red, and blue. So I've got yellow fabric, red fabric, but for the blue fabric, the prototype is very fashionable. He wears the jacket of a Jester. So I was just taking my daily jog and I came across a Jester and he was wearing a beautiful blue Jester robe. So I stole it. So for the jacket he uses, I'm gonna be using this blue Jester robe jacket thingy. And of course his sleeves are the funnels, so I can go ahead and cut off each sleeve. And that will be my blue fabric for both the hat and the funnel. I've got all the funnels covered in the fabric, so now I can put it onto the arms. I've got the arms officially attached to the body. I went ahead and glued on the bones as well. I still have to do a little paint job to it to make it look all old and nasty. So the 4-joint connector or whatever it's called, it's actually not glued into place on this pole, which means, ow, it can swivel like this. So I cut off both of the sleeves. One sleeve I used for both funnels, and the other sleeve I have right here. If I tighten this end here, it is like the perfect shape. This will be perfect for the blue panel on his hat. And I also have giant gold jingle bells. I'm just gonna attach them to, So all I gotta do is just attach it to the very end of the hat. The head is on the body, which means it is done. Wait, except for one more thing. After nearly 2 weeks of work, the prototype is complete. Now it is time for the reveal.
You created me,
brought me into this
decrepit
world, leaving me rot.
And to be used as
Parts for future.
projects.
Now, I will end you.
And see what you look like.
Wrong side out.
This is my real life prototype animatronic that I built by hand. This thing is ginormous. It is 8 feet tall, 9 feet wide. The head moving mechanic is super creepy. Overall, I'm very happy how this turned out. This took a lot of work to build, so it would really help if you guys liked and subscribed with the notifications on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what I should build next. Peace.